Today we're doing skill review day 8. The objective is to subtract across zeros using the place value chart. The materials needed for today are your online whiteboard or your whiteboard dry erase marker and dry eraser. And the teaching style we're going to follow is where I do it, we do it together, and then you do it on your own. First, I'm going to show you an example so you can go ahead and watch. I'm going to fill out my hundreds chart just like we've been practicing these last 2 weeks with my hundreds, tens, and ones. Just like we practiced earlier in the week, I'm going to draw my first number, which is 806. So I need 800s, zero tens, and 6 ones. Now, what we're practicing today is having a 0 in this first number, okay? So you're going to see what it looks like when we have nothing over here to borrow from, okay? And you'll see what I mean in just a moment. I need to take away 478. Step 1 is starting the ones. So right now I'm only going to look at the 8. I see over here I only have 6. So I can't take 8 away. And I can't borrow because I don't have any tens. So I have to go all the way over to the hundreds. I have to borrow 100. But I'm not going to bring it all the way over here and make 100 ones because that would just take too long. I'm just going to move this 100 over to the tens and make 10 10 sticks. Now that I have 10 sticks, I can borrow one of those and move that over and make just 10 ones. Okay, so I borrowed from the hundreds, I made 10 tens, and then I took one of the tens and made it into 10 ones. Now I can start doing my subtraction. Now I can take away 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Next is the tens place, which is a 7. I can take away 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 4 in the hundreds, so I can take away 4 hundreds. Notice how this 100 does not count because I already borrowed that and used it somewhere else. So I start counting fresh. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I took away 4 and I borrowed 1. So altogether I've gotten rid of 500s. Okay. Now I can go back and count what's left. In my ones, I have the 6 I started with. So 6, 7, 8. Over here in the tens, I have 1, 2. And in the hundreds, 1, 2, 3. So 806 minus 478 is 328. Okay, now what I'd like you to do is do an example with me. Go ahead and start by drawing your hundreds chart with your hundreds, tens, and ones. I'll give you just a moment to get that ready, and then we'll do this example together. Okay, let's start by drawing 404. 4 hundreds, 0 tens, 4 ones. 4 hundreds, 0 tens, and 4 ones. Take just a moment, make sure your picture matches mine before we start subtracting. We need to subtract 249. Step 1 is starting the ones. Over here in the ones place, I have a 9. I don't have 9 ones, so I can't start taking away. I don't have a 10 to borrow, so we're going to go all the way to the hundreds. Go ahead and cross out 100. We're going to move the 100 over here and break it into 10 sticks. So we'll need 10 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Take a moment, make sure that your 100 is broken into 10 tens. Now, we still don't have 9 ones. We have tens now, so we can borrow, but we need to get some more ones over here. So let's borrow a 10, cross one of our tens out, move it over. 1 10 is the same as 10 ones. Take a moment, make sure your picture matches mine before we start crossing out. So we borrowed 100, broke it into 10 tens, borrowed a 10, broke it into 10 ones. Now we have enough to take away 9 ones. So let's cross out 9 ones. Next, we look in the tens place, and there is a 4 and 249. So we need to take away 4 tens. Go ahead and cross out 4 tens. Now remember, one of the tens we already borrowed, so that does not count as one of our 4. So once we cross out 4, plus the one that we borrowed, we end up having 5 crossed out altogether. Okay, so make sure you don't count the one you already crossed out earlier. Next, we have a 2 in the hundreds place. Once again, we already used this 100, so this can't count as one we cross out. 1, 2 hundreds. Now together, let's go ahead and count what's left. Over here in the ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the tens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in the hundreds, just 1. So 404 minus 249 equals 155. Okay, go ahead and erase. We're going to do another example together. So draw another hundreds chart. Hundreds, tens, and ones. And then I want you to go ahead of me and get 705 ready on your board. So go ahead and draw 705. and then we'll see if your drawing matches mine. Okay, so you should have drawn 7 hundredths, 0 tens, and 5 ones. Now we need to take away 137. Step 1 is starting the ones. There's a 7 in the ones place, but we only have 5, so we can't take away 7. We're going to have to borrow from all the way over here in the hundreds place. I'm going to give you just a moment to borrow from the hundreds into the tens, and then borrow from the tens into the ones, and then we'll see if your borrowing matches mine. Okay, so you should have borrowed 100 and made it into 10 tens. And then you borrowed one of those tens and made it into 10 ones. Take a moment, make sure your drawing matches mine. If everything looks good, I want you to go ahead and take away 7 ones, 3 tens, and 100, and then we'll see if yours matches mine. Okay, so we took away 7 ones. We have 3 tens we need to take away. And 100. Then I just count what's left. The 5 I started with here in the ones, so 5, 6, 7, 8. And the tens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the ones, I'm sorry, the hundreds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we figured out that 705 minus 137 equals 568. Okay, let's go ahead and do one more example together. Make your hundreds chart, label your hundreds, your tens, your ones. Then I want you to draw 502. Okay, so you should have drawn 502. We're going to go a little bit faster with this example. 5 hundreds, 0 tens, 2 ones. We're taking away 175. We look in the ones place, we need to take away 5, but we only have 2. I'll give you a moment to go ahead and draw what it would look like to borrow so that we end up with enough in the ones to be able to cross out 5. So we don't have any tens to borrow, so we go all the way over to the hundreds. We borrow 100, make it into 10 tens. Then borrow one of those tens and make it into 10 ones. Make sure that your picture matches mine, and then go ahead and take away 175 and count to find your answer. I'll give you just a moment to do that and have your answer ready. Okay, so step 1 is look in the ones. We need to take away 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next, we look in the tens, and we need to take away 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we look in the hundreds and take away 1. Now we can count what's left. The 2 we started with, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In the tens, 1, 2. And in the hundreds, 1, 2, 3. So the answer you should have got for 502 minus 175 is 327. Okay, go ahead and erase, and we're now at the part where you're going to work on this alone. It's IXL skill J, which is subtract across zeros. So you'll see the problem written like this, and what you'll have to do is draw your place value chart. Okay, and then you're going to have to draw your first number, take away your second number, starting in the ones, then the tens, then the hundreds. Count to see what's left, and that will end up being your answer. Go ahead and begin.